Hello, this is Bill Steffen. The big weather story is dry weather continues here for the rest of the week, and we are going to have a big warming trend, which should send our temperatures up into the low 80s here for the mid part of the week. Well, let's take a look at some low temperatures here from early Monday morning. First of all, a quick hi to our Ottawa News Network viewers. Thanks so much for coming on board. Now we'll take a look at some of those low temperatures across the area. Leota tied three other locations for coldest spot in the entire United States. There was one spot in Idaho, there was Davis, West Virginia, and also Mutterville, Michigan. I don't know where that is. Maybe somebody can enlighten me there, but 27 this morning. Roscommon, 28, Baldwin at 29. These are all places that experienced a little bit of frost early this morning. Houghton Lake and Cadillac making it down to freezing. Grand Rapids stopped at 39. And Kalamazoo, 39 there, was a record low temperature for this state, never been colder, on September the 8th. Let's take a look at some high temperatures then. Many locations saw the temperatures rise about 30 degrees, and it's quite a warm-up. Ionia, Marshall, and Mount Pleasant topping the list at 69. Pretty much everybody was 67 to 69, everyone pretty much the same. And only a couple degrees cooler out at the piers. South Haven Pier had a high temperature of 65. And Muskegon Pier was like 64 almost all day long. And since I had a little room down at the bottom, I thought I'd include the hottest spot in the United States, which is 110, or was 110, at Death Valley, California. And the coldest high temperature I saw was at Vostok, Antarctica, where they had a high temperature of 86 below zero. That's the coldest spot in the world, by the way, even colder than the South Pole. And Vostok had a low temperature of minus 95. I think they hold the world's record for coldest temperature ever at 129.6 below zero. Oh, that would be cold. Okay, on we go. Daylight continues to shrink. We're down to 12 hours and 46 minutes of daylight with our sunrise at 7:16, sunset right about 8 o'clock. And you'll notice that the sun is rising pretty much toward the east now and coming up and going down, by the way, in the almost due west. Our average high and low stays the same for one more day at 77.56. Record high temperature 95 set in 1897, and the record low was 37 in 1975. That was the year we had the Edmund Fitzgerald sink in Lake Superior. And by the way, take a look at that picture there. That's sunset at Muskegon, and some of that gray there is wildfire smoke. We've actually had some wildfire smoke come down. That should exit as our winds turn south, and the sky will become a little bit bluer here over the next couple of days. All right, on we go. Let's see what's next here. The moon is not quite full right now. We're, I think, about 98% full, but for all practical purposes, we missed that lunar eclipse, and this is the corn moon. The next one will be the harvest moon, and the full moon after that, as we head toward November, will be the hunter's moon. On we go. Let's see what's next. Lakeshore forecast, and this is not for Sunday. I didn't change that. This is for Tuesday. South to southwest winds most of the day 5 to 15 knots, though it may pick up a little bit Oceana and Mason County during the afternoon. Waves start out at 6 inches to 2 feet, but may kick up closer to 3 feet for a brief time up in parts of Oceana and Mason County to the north. Water temperatures are still mighty chilly. The warmest there is 66 at Muskegon and 69 out at the buoy at South Haven. Reed's Lake started the day at 65, made it up to 69 with some sunshine here during the afternoon. And a little bit on severe weather across the country. We start out here with the reports for the day yesterday, Monday. And you can see that we've got 32 severe reports, 1 tornado, 29 severe hail reports, including a 4-inch in diameter hail report at Ashland, Kansas. That'll take out some windows. And a 65-mile-an-hour gust at Brownlee in Nebraska. But all the severe weather is pretty much crowded within a couple of storms down there from the Texas Panhandle up toward Wichita, Kansas. And then the severe weather outlook area for today, there is a marginal risk once again from western Kansas and eastern Colorado down in through the Texas Panhandle. More rain for Florida. There could be an isolated thunder shower in upper Michigan, but not in lower Michigan. And we move ahead to Wednesday, and we'll show you that all of Michigan is colored white. That means no rain, no thunderstorms. So will be storms, a few of them non-severe, along the Gulf of Mexico and in Florida, and also out in parts of the Plain States, once again, the Great Plains. Well, we're going to take a little time out now and thank one of our sponsors, Complete Care Concierge.
Need a fast, efficient, and affordable cleaning service? Complete Care Concierge has you covered. Serving all of West Michigan, we offer one-time, daily, weekly, and bi-weekly cleans, plus move in, move out. We also service apartment hallways and laundry rooms. Our work is guaranteed, gift cards are available, and we even clean on weekends. There's no better way to say I love you than giving a tired mom a break from dishes and laundry. Are you a busy professional? Pamper yourself by taking vacuuming and dusting off your plate. Office manager, keep your business looking and feeling its very best. Call 616-264-1397 today for a spotless space and total peace of mind.
Well, here's a look at how much rain we're going to see over the next 3 days. You can see there will be some rain up in the UP along the Lake Superior shoreline, and especially up toward the Houghton area, west of Marquette, through northwest Wisconsin and northeast Minnesota. Look at the rain out in the western United States. A pretty significant amount of rain for what is essentially still summertime. And look at down in Florida. They've had a ton of rain down there. I was looking at rainfall totals for the month. It's between 3 and 4 inches at Miami, Orlando, and Daytona Beach, and 4.62 inches of rain has fallen during the first 8 days of September at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So it's certainly been a wet period with thunderstorms pretty much every day. No severe weather down there, no strong winds, but all in all, kind of a wet pattern for them, and that will continue here over the next couple of days. On we go now, and taking a look at the tropics. Again, the peak of the hurricane season. I'm going to show that slide here probably tomorrow. Peak of the hurricane season is September 10, and there is nothing going on in the Atlantic, probably nothing for the next 10 days. But like I said, after that, for the second half of September, things should start to perk up a little bit in the Atlantic. In the Eastern Pacific, not much going on. There's one tropical storm that may develop, about a 50-50 chance where that orange X is, and that would take a path along the southwest Mexican coast. And then we have Hurricane Kiko, K-I-K-O, and you can see the path of the storm north of the Hawaiian Islands, but close enough to produce some showers and some rather strong gusty winds at times, which will kick up the waves. It gets the surfers all excited when they get a hurricane passing north like that. And this will weaken into a tropical storm today, and then just a depression after that. And then out in the Western Pacific, again, really quiet out here. We've got one depression out there circled in the Indian Ocean. That shouldn't amount to much of anything. And then Typhoon Tapa became just a tropical storm and then fizzled as it came on shore. It's the last you'll hear from that one, but that will leave the Pacific Ocean pretty quiet, except for Kiko, which is passing north of Hawaii. Okay, up next, we've got more on our weather here. It should be a dry week. 76 the high temperature today, a touch cooler near the lake. 80 for midweek, so some summer-like weather ahead for us. Should see a lot of sunshine. There'll be some scattered cumulus clouds and the possibility for some of this haze during the day today, or smoke, a little wildfire smoke. Taking a look at what we forecast here for today, I think mid-70s. We should be about 5 to 7 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. Skies will be mostly sunny. It does cool off at night. Nights are getting longer, and when it's clear and calm, you can see this 30-degree temperature difference between the overnight low and the afternoon high temperature. Humidity gets pretty low in the afternoon. We should get all the way down to about 35% briefly, and south to southwest winds at 5 to 15 miles an hour. Nice warm breeze here. Taking a look at high temperatures across the area, we'll be seeing readings in the mid to upper 70s across the southern tier, and about the same off to the north. You can see temperatures pretty much uniform. Where the wind's coming off the water, it's a few degrees cooler, 71 at South Haven and 71 at Ludington. and some 60-degree high temperatures up in the UP, but the eastern UP should still see some sun, though there'll be more cloud cover and the chance of a shower or thunder shower in the western UP. And then we move ahead to Wednesday, and be able to show you that we'll be up close to 80 in the afternoon. Again, about 4 or 5 degrees cooler or so during the at the lakeshore areas here. I have a cat that's crawling around me here, so that's why I'm kind of distracted. Should be 81 if you're heading to Chicago, 79 for Detroit, and some 60s along the Lake Superior shoreline. Our 5-day forecast calls for mostly sunny skies here from Tuesday through the day on Friday. And then we have a chance of a shower during the day on Saturday. I've got the chance at 30%, probably over the weekend combined Saturday and Sunday, about a 50 to 60% chance of at least one shower or thunder shower. And like I keep saying, in the midst of a dry pattern like this, be grateful for the rain you get, even if it comes on the weekends. Warm weather returns. The first 8 days of the month of September here have been about 8 degrees cooler than average, which is a lot. But we should see temperatures rise above average and near average in the afternoon today, and then above average from Wednesday through Saturday. And taking a look at the long-range outlook here, a lot of warm air across the central United States and out west. Temperatures near normal along the East Coast. And in terms of rainfall, once again, we're in the below normal area for rainfall, and any rain you get here would be pretty rare. So if you got an event scheduled between now and September 16 to 22, it looks like you'll probably be seeing some dry conditions, some sunshine, and some rather pleasant temperatures. So that's a look at our weather. Hope you get outside and enjoy some fairly mild conditions here over the next 4 or 5 days or so. I think we got some extra slides to show you here today. Michelle is working. Alex has helped out in producing those. There's the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, and that yellow below area covers much of the state of Michigan. All right, let's see what's up next here. September 9, 1965, Hurricane Betsy made a second landfall. Category 4 storm, highest winds were 140 miles an hour. Those are the gusts there. There were 81 fatalities. We don't have as many fatalities in general. We get exceptions like Katrina, but now that we have satellites to see these storms coming, we can better prepare for it. But Betsy was a big storm and produced a lot of damage. You can see the map of the storm over on the right side there. I believe that's Florida over on the right. And the isobars are lines of equal pressure, just packed close together, indicating it's very windy there. $1.42 billion damage in 1965, and that would be the equivalent of $14.56 billion in damage in today's money. Resulted in improvements to the New Orleans levee strength, which unfortunately failed again for Hurricane Katrina. It's hard to build levees in an area where you have river silt, because that's just a fine. It's just hard to make those work. So, like I said, if it were me, I would try and zone people out of living below sea level and move them back up river a little bit where they can be above sea level there. I wouldn't have to worry about the ocean coming in during a hurricane. Up next, September 9, 1947, the first computer bug. What are we up to now? Was an actual bug, a moth wedged in the systems, was inside the Harvard Mark II. And this is interesting. 1947, this was going on. Pretty amazing. A computer employed by the U.S. Navy for ballistic calculations. In current days, bugs referred to errors in programs. But then it was a literal bug. Oh, I didn't get much computer training when I was at the University of Wisconsin. I think I did, there were the old Fortran computers and not really much there. That's one thing you pretty much had to learn on the job as you went along here, how to meld computers and meteorology. Okay, on we come here, September 9, 1839, first-class plate photograph taken by Sir John Herschel of a telescope mount. Herschel coined the terms photography, positive and negative. Other work was in astronomy with his father's telescope mount being the subject of this photograph. And there's what the photograph looks like. Neat picture. I wonder if Herschel was the guy that discovered one of the moons. So what was that? I forget which moon he discovered, but that could have been doing photography. It could have been. Okay, let's go on to the next one here. This Irish band is fronted by Bono and was famous in the 1990s. I know the answer, and I hope you too do also. And the 2000s, however, on September 9, 2014, they controversially released Songs of Innocence onto Apple devices worldwide and for free. Yeah, you get to a point where you get to be at that level, and money doesn't quite. I mean, you kind of have enough money to live on, and especially if you're a person that doesn't require a whole lot, can live frugally. You got more of an opportunity to give money away to charities and some people that can really use it more than you can. All right, let's go on here and see U2, and there it is. There's some of the guys there. My brother, the guitar player who used to sell guitars, had some interaction with Bono and U2. I don't know if he took him a guitar or sold him a guitar or something like that. I'll have to ask him when he comes up here later in the month. I'll see if I can get him on the we'll see if we could do a cast with him here, because he'd be an interesting guy to talk to with all the famous people that he's met and everything. Okay, on September 9, 1890, this fast food businessman was born. Despite his name, he was never in the military. Oh, I know what this is. His food is a big hit in the Asia Pacific region. I'm guessing this is Colonel Harlan Sanders, who was born, yeah, there he is, and that's an actual picture of him. What can I tell you about Harlan Sanders? We have stopped several times at the first Kentucky Fried Chicken that was ever put together, and it was on the old US 25 in southeast Kentucky, and he put a billboard up on the they moved the US 25 was the main route going down there. But then they built the interstate highway system, and that was several miles to the west. So he had to pack up and move closer. He located closer to the expressway so he could get the crowd coming in off of that, too. I think he was originally born in southern Indiana near, what's the name of the town there? I forget what it is, but I think he was born there. In his later life, he got into golf. He enjoyed playing golf in his old age. But I was very grateful for KFC, because in the Henryville, Indiana tornado, they donated a lot of food. KFC did to workers, and of course that's something that is pretty transportable, and they had some good interaction there. Long story. I may go into that a little bit later on. But Harlan Sanders born on this date. Okay. Bill, where were you? And who was with you? And what did you win in the raffle? Okay, that was a picture taken Sunday, and that is Kevin Craig from Fox 17. We occasionally get together to MC the Holy Trinity Festival, which is up at Alpine Church Road in Cordis in Alpine Township. And we just have a great time doing this, going back and forth. One of the things they have is a raffle, and what you do is you take a ticket and you put it in a bowl, and it costs you so much money to put your ticket in the bowl. So what they do then is they pull out one of the tickets from the bowl, and that's who gets to win the prize. And so I bought some tickets, and I was putting them around. I got a nice charcoal grill there, all these nice masculine prizes that you can win. Well, lo and behold, my wife put a card into the dollhouse. They had a dollhouse there, and it's an extensive dollhouse. It has batteries. The chandelier lights up. It's 4.5 feet high, and we wound up winning that. So I ran back up there and picked that up and took that over to somebody who needs it more or can appreciate it more than I can. But that was interesting. Kevin and I have done this together for, golly, how many years? really, was it 8-10 years? They have a chicken dinner up there, which is really nice. Beer tent. A lot of activities that go on for the kids up there as well. So a lot of these church festivals that go on, a lot of them go on in the fall, and they're really fun to go to. So you might want to pick one out and see if you can support the cause a little bit. All right, let's go on. And we have here September 9, 1885. The cornerstone was laid for the old Grand Rapids City Hall. And I did not come to Grand Rapids in time to see the City Hall. The clock, I believe, is still at the Public Museum. It was torn down in 1969. Tearing it down was controversial. Yes, it was. The location is now the Kent County Courthouse, real close to Calder Plaza there. But it was a fairly tall building with a really nice tower on it, and the clocks on 4 sides. And it was, really a neat building. And it's fun to learn about the history of the town and everything that has gone on, some of the tall buildings and when they were built, and what people did. I mean, take a look at Pomona Park, which used to be out by East Grand Rapids, the amusement park out there, and how many people had fun out there in their teenage years or as adults with bringing the kids along to to what they had going on there. Okay, let's go on to the next one here. September 9, 1986. Boy, do I remember this. Rain, September 9 to 12. That was the flood of 86. Central and Lower Michigan. Midland got almost a foot of rain in 3 days. Up to a 60-mile area was flooded. I think there was a day where you could not get into Sparta because the 3-4 roads going in were all blocked by flood damage. The Rogue River reached a record. I think the Muskegon River in Newaygo was nearly 5 feet higher than it had ever been in history. We had a dozen dam failures here. Half of US 31 washed out near Pentwater, and it took them a while before they got that redone. And I remember me and George Lessons and Dave Whitford were given the assignment of putting together a half-an-hour special on the flood. And we had to crank it out in about 3 days, plus doing our regular job. And we did it. We had kind of a long credit reel at the end to fill time for the last minute or so. But that was quite the event. It really was. That was from thunderstorms that were what we call training. They were going over the same spot. They were forming in the same spot, going over the same spot. I think overnight Sparta and Grant had about 8 inches of rain. So it was quite an event here. Damaged $400 million in 1986 dollars. That, of course, would be over $1 billion today. Wow. Okay, let's see what's next. We've got some pictures to share with you, and maybe something else there from Dave Verhoeven. And that's a pretty picture. That could very well be the sun. I don't think the moon would be giving out quite that much light, but it could be. That's a great picture looking out over the lake right there with the glistening, shimmering waters of Lake Michigan. And we have a picture coming up next from Bradley Taylor, and that is a praying mantis. They can be a little nasty at times, but every now and then you see those in the garden there, and pretty rare event. I have not seen one yet this summer, but most summers I do. Thanks, Bradley, for passing along that picture. Up next, we have from John Kimball. This is Mullet Lake. Sun shining down on the lake there. And again, that I could be the moon, I guess. I'm not a photography junkie here, so I can't say for sure, but beautiful picture there. Of course, Mullet Lake and Burt Lake, kind of twin lakes that are split by Interstate 75 as you head up toward the Mack Bridge up there. Really pretty to see. I think it's Michigan Route 27 that goes along the west edge of Mullet Lake, Pleasant Drive. All right, up next, we have John Scully, who's got a beautiful picture there. Look at that bright blue sky. That was before the smoke moved down from Canada. And you can see the ripples on the water, the puffy cumulus clouds, which are about a mile above the ground. If you were to go up in a plane about a mile above the ground. And of course, it would be a little bit bumpy as you went in and out of the clouds there with the thermals that produce the clouds. And pretty picture, John. And I think we have one more to pass along to you. This is from John Doherty, and look at that little creature. Isn't that fun? Clock is chiming here. You can hear that in the background. But that's really cool. I do not know what type of creature that is, but it appears to be colorful with some bands on it, and one of the friendly critters that you might find out in the garden. So, John, thanks for that. Do we have any more, or are we done here? I think we may be done for the day. I think so. When I pop up with the snow, we know we're done. Hey, thanks so much for sticking with us till the end. Great weather pattern if you like sunny, warm, late summer days. And if you're looking for some rain, you'll have to wait till over the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, we may catch a shower or a thunder shower. The European model gives us about half an inch of rain over the weekend, and maybe a little early to try and pin that down, but that would be our best chance for rain probably over the next week and a half or so. Once again, have yourself a great day.